Okay, so it's only taken 4 games for the first lopsided result at the Women's Euros. Spain had beaten Portugal 5-0. It was 4-0 at half time, and the scoring started very, very quickly. They ran riot. The Portuguese team, defensively, their structures were all over the place, and Spain just it was easy. It was easy. And yeah, look, Spain are one of the favourites for the tournament, if not the favourites for the tournament. And Portugal are a much improved side from previous years, but recently in the Nations League they've conceded a lot of goals, and tonight was no different. It was 4-0 at half time, 2-0 up in 7 minutes. At that point, you're fearing it could be a cricket score, like double figures. The Esther Gonzalez's first goal comes from a long ball, and it undoes the Portuguese defence. And it's a great finish. It's a very, very, very well taken finish, but it's just a long ball. It's something that should be very easily diffused, and it wasn't. Vicky Lopez's goal in 7 minutes is when this is worrying signs now for Portugal. You're thinking this could be a cricket score, because that's Spain's second shot on goal, and they're 2-0 up. Now, Pereira did pull off some saves for Portugal, and some of the Spain attacks they could be a little bit more accurate with their finishing. They were trying to. All their goals were different in the way they were created, but they were trying to get the perfect goal at times. But the Portuguese defence was very porous. It was all over the place. There was no structure to it. They're not picking up runners in space. They're being very drawn to the ball. They're ball watching a lot of the time. They're being pulled all over the place. When they do win it back, they don't have long in possession before they turn it over. They didn't really have a get-out ball in the first half. But the scoring stopped for a good while until 41 minutes when Alexis Putellas scored a very good goal. And then you worried that, okay, it's 3-0 now. How long is it going to be until it's 4-0? Well, Esther Gonzalez's second goal in 43 minutes. Pina, that was the most ridiculous attempt from a very tight angle to score. She's hit the post and Gonzalez just taps in the rebound. And that was the luck that Spain were having. Everything was going their way. Portugal were just very naive defensively. Lack of communication, lack of organisation, and Spain, as I say, it could have been 7 or 8 by half time. The last team to score 4 goals in a first half at Euros was England at the last Euros against Norway, where they went on to win 8-0. Obviously, they went on to win the tournament. Now, the second half, it took most of the second half to get a shot on target. Spain, I don't know if they let their foot off the gas a little bit, but Portugal made some tactical changes, they made some substitutions, and they looked a little bit more solid defensively, and they actually had a bit more possession and a bit more time on the ball, and they looked a bit more solidified defensively. Spain still exposed them defensively, but they were looking a little bit more organised. The pace of the game had dropped off. I think the heat had taken a lot out of both sets of players. I think the heat and humidity did have an impact on the pace of the game in the second half. It was a bit more subdued, and Portugal looked a little bit more threatening going the other way. They actually built some attacks, but eventually Cristina Martin Prieto gets her goal right on the full-time whistle. They couldn't keep it to 0 in the second half. I think Portugal could be quite happy with their second half performance, but they concede right at the death to make it 5 for Spain. Spain will have tougher tests. They do look a little bit vulnerable defensively to long balls and balls into the wide channels. That was something that Portugal did expose, is that the Spanish fullbacks do push up quite high, and they do also have quite a high line. And so there were flashes of Portugal exposing Spain a little bit in those wide channels and with balls over the top. And Spain will have tougher tests. I don't think they were really tested this evening. But overall, I do fear for Portugal against Italy. Italy will want to play better than they did against Belgium. And Belgium will want to play better as well. I just fear for Portugal in this group and in this tournament that they're going to have 3 heavy defeats. If we're being honest, I think Belgium were very good on the counter attack. Portugal were very sloppy in possession when they did get it. Italy, I think they were a bit nervy and a little bit conservative today, a bit, finding their feet in the tournament. But as their game went on, they got more confident and they built those combinations and started to get those passing moves and movement off the ball. I do fear for Portugal. I really do. They just look very defensively disorganised. Although I will say this, the lineup that they finished with, I think should be the lineup they start their next game with. They look better with that formation and lineup on the field than what they did in the first half. But Spain ran riot, and it was also good to see Bon Marti get on the field, considering she's had bacterial meningitis within the last 10 to 14 days, which is quite a serious condition. So the fact she's even playing is amazing. She got a little run out at the end. I don't know how many minutes she's going to get in the group stage. I think they're going to be a bit conservative with her minutes, but I think Spain can be quite happy they didn't concede, and they'll be quite happy with their first half performance. I think they might be a little bit disappointed with their second half performance, though. I think they lost a little bit of intensity and a little bit of momentum and flow. You could argue with the substitutions that had an impact, but they did lose a little bit of focus as well. They got a little bit more sloppy with some of their passing. Everyone was perfect in the first half. Second half, maybe they eased up a little bit on the throttle there. I don't think they'll be happy with that second half performance in comparison to their first half performance. But that is a statement win by Spain in the tournament. That's put the rest of the tournament on notice. And that's the first time we've got more than 3 goals in a game. It's also the 3rd clean sheet we've had in the tournament in 4 games. So 3 sides have failed to score so far out of the 8 teams that have played. So that's interesting as well. We're still yet to have a goalless game. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts on Spain's dominant performance in the comment section below, and I'll have some more content for you all very, very soon.